Hello everyone, welcome to the District Stitcher number 11. My name is Judy and I'm coming at you from Washington, D.C. If you are new to my channel, this is a channel about cross-stitch, occasionally some other crafts thrown in, usually something with yarn, knitting, crochet, spinning, I don't know. I pick up hobbies. It's a thing. Hobbies are my hobby. So yeah, it has been actually 3 weeks since my last video. It's just been, I try to do it every 2 weeks, so that I have things to show you. But it's been a busy time. Previously, my last video I told you all, I think that I was going out to Las Vegas for a friend's wedding. And I will say, so we'll do life updates first. And then we'll do, I have a couple finishes to show you, and then we'll get into whips, and I have a fun haul for you. So with life updates, Vegas was, if you've never been there, it is a whole vibe. It's a very strange place. I had a lot of fun. I will say the only downside really that I experienced was that a lot of the casinos still allow people to smoke inside. And I understand why. It's just that I am an ex-smoker, so I'm hypersensitive to it. So that was a little tough for me. It's definitely messed up my sinuses a bit. And I had a sinus infection in my ears, still haven't fully recovered. But that aside, it was really fun. The sad part of the trip is that we, the evening before, like the morning of the evening before the wedding, my husband was not feeling particularly well. And the morning of, I went out and got us some COVID tests, and he did test positive. He's fine now. He wasn't actually very sick, and he wasn't very sick for long. And I'm amazed I didn't get it. I'm not sure if I just never tested positive and had it. But I had the new booster before we went out, 2 weeks before we went out. So I'm wondering if I just didn't get it. But he did. And that meant that we stayed in our hotel room and we didn't go out to the actual wedding that we went out there for. But you know, we were able to watch the live stream from the wedding chapel, and you know, it was sad to not be there in person, but then it was also like, you know, we both felt good that we were keeping our friends safe, you know? There are a couple people in the group that haven't, you know, that are more high risk than we are, so it was the right choice to make, obviously. We didn't want to get anyone sick. But it was very cute. It was a very sweet Star Trek themed. The wedding chapel, so they did a Star Trek themed wedding. And the wedding chapel had its like sci-fi decorations, but then the whole thing was also done up for Halloween. And one of my friends that got married loves Halloween. So it was the absolutely perfect confluence of their favorite things. So that was neat. So between the recovering from not feeling well on the Vegas trip and we're prepping for a big thing at work. If you are familiar with DC or from DC, you might know of Eastern Market. It's a historical market building built in the 1870s that is having its 150th year this year. And it's the only remaining intact market building. There were a bunch of them throughout the city, and it's really the only one left. And it still functions as a market building. It still has market vendors inside, you know, a little butcher, a florist, great seafood vendor. So we're prepping this whole 150th anniversary celebration shindig. So it's really neat, but it's been a lot of last minute planning because our grant funding for it didn't come through until the last possible minute. So it's been okay, like you know, we've been holding, and now we're like go. But it's in a good place, and it's going to be really neat. So That is on the weekend of November 11th and 12th. So you will definitely not see Flosstube for me that weekend, let me tell you. So let's jump into it. Again, because I've been busy, I don't have a ton to share with you today, so this will be a short video for y'all, and then you'll be able to jump into, the rest of you Flosstube. I'm sure you're like me and follow like 100+ Flosstubers. I follow so many people. I'm going to apologize for any background noise. I do have the window open today. It's really nice, and I didn't want to close it, so I guess we'll all suffer together. So last time I showed you some Mill Hill kits that I'd bought. I finished 2 of them so far. So here is my very cute bear. There we go. Okay, I think I might actually need to close the window because it's gonna pick up the leaf blower from my neighbor. So we'll pause here for 1 second. Okay, so sorry about that. The window is now closed, so we will not hear the leaf blower. So yeah, here is. I'm trying to get to focus on it. It's hard. Mill Hills are always difficult to kind of show on camera or even in a photograph, because just the way the light reflects off the beads. But you can. I'm not sure if putting something behind it would actually help. Let's see. A little bit. I'm trying to tilt it. I have my light source is a lamp, so I'm trying to tilt it in a way that you can see it, but it's not too bad. Anyway, I think you get the general idea. Obviously, this is not fully finished. A lot of these that aren't ornaments come as they have a magnet included, so they can be finished as fridge magnets, which I really like. So I'm gonna just put a little felt backing on it, glue the magnet onto it, and that'll be a Christmas gift for a friend who I hope actually isn't watching this video. He might be. You'll forget about it if so. Don't worry. It's a long time till Christmas. And yet somehow not long enough. The other one I did is the Canada Goose. There we go. So cute. I will cop to the fact that when I first saw the pattern, like the picture of the pattern on the thing, I thought he was holding like a Starbucks latte. Because it was red and had white stuff. And I was like, oh, he's holding a peppermint latte. Let's see if we can get it a little bit closer. There we go. So on the red present, I have added a cross ribbon. So it looks like a present and not the latte I thought it was. So yeah, there's the goose. It's funny, I adore Halloween. But I also love Christmas, and normally this time of the year I am full Halloween mode, but I'm still kind of, I don't know, I'm just feeling Christmas right now. So once I finish up this next whip that I'm going to show you, I may start pulling out more Christmas stuff, not just the little ornaments. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, let me show. I'm all discombobulated. It's been a while since I filmed. Let me show you first. The whip is, it's called Knock Knock. It's by the Prairie Schooler. And there's, I love the, a lot of the primitive style Halloween stuff. A lot of the primitive stitches isn't always my vibe. It really depends piece to piece. But I love vintagey looking Halloween stuff in particular. So I tend to, if I want a Halloween stitch, I tend to, look at a lot of the ones that have the, more folk art style of patterns. And so I love Prairie Schooler anyway. There's something, I love the folk art aspect of it, but there's something that always feels almost modern in a lot of their, when they do 1 or 2 color patterns. It just, I don't know, it's a neat mesh of modern it's like a modern spin on folk art that I really like. So yeah, so this is Knock Knock. And I will show you. This is stitched on a, what is it? I have another piece of it. Lamb wool linen? I'm not really sure. To me, it just looks like a natural color linen. And it is 32 count. And this is where I am. I've been doing the back stitch as I go for each section. So I've got, all the top banner, I've got one of the side borders, and I've got the central panel done. So now I just need to finish up this side border, which is a mirror of the other side, and then the bottom, which is also a mirror of the top, except the pumpkins have different faces. Let me show you side by side. We can't really see that. There we go. You can see the... I'm trying to get it so it doesn't have glare on it. So there, you can see the pumpkins have different faces. So that is that one. And once I finish this up, I am probably going to pull out my grandniece's stocking, because I'm really going to try hard to finish that up so I can give it to her at Christmas. And because this December I have another grandniece on the way. She's also, it's going to be a little girl. Her name is going to be Lila. So my grandniece Mia, who is 5, or turning 5, is going to have a little sister to terrorize, almost certainly. So it'll be Mia and Lila, and Lila's also due in September. It's going to be, or in December. It's going to be really funny if they end up having the same birthday. That'll go over great. I envision no competition for who gets the most stuff on a birthday. I'm sure it'll be fine. But yeah, we're excited for that, and I think my niece is very excited to just get to December and get the baby out of her, because she's huge and tired of it. So I feel like that is the song that every pregnant person has ever sung throughout history. So they just get to a point where they're just like, just get it out of me. So, so I want to finish up Mia's stocking so I can, and I need to pick out a pattern for one for Lila. Let's see. I'm going to do haul first. Actually, let me show you real quick. Because really, there's not much to show on progress because I just started it this morning, but I did. I got tired of just stitching black on that Halloween stitch I just showed you, so I pulled out another one of the Mill Hill kits, and I'm doing bacon and eggs, which I think is adorable. The best food is breakfast food, and like I just have a couple stitches on it, so it's not it's not really anything to show. But hopefully next time I'll have that and maybe a couple others done for you. I'm going to show you 2 other little finishes, not fully finished. It's not cross-stitch this time. It's actually knitting. So I think I mentioned in a previous video I got really obsessed with drop spindle spinning this year. I can show you real quick. So this is a drop spindle, and it works by just putting tension into yarn, into roving. So you spin it and you hold this and you pinch and then you pull and then you just let the tension travel up. And that spins what's called a single ply. And then this is down here, this is the cop, and on the spindle, and it holds this yarn while you're spinning. And that is a single ply of what is usually a 2-ply yarn. And you can stop and start just by twisting it around the hook. This is not an instructional video. There are tons of them on YouTube that are very good. I will say if you're ever interested in drop spindle spinning, get one of these spindles that has like a gear edge, and it'll make your life a lot easier. So I just thought these colors are really pretty, very fall-like. So that'll be a nice yarn when it's done. Here's half of the amount. So this is half of the roving. Has a lot of pretty fall colors in it. Oh, it's what I was in the mood for. So, so I've been really into spinning yarn, and I finally started knitting up some of my hand spun yarn. So it needs to be blocked so that it stops curling. If you're not a knitter, sometimes if you do this stitch, which is a basic, what's called a stockinette stitch, which means that it looks knit on one side and has, the back side is garter. If you don't knit, don't worry about it. But if you do this particular stitch, the fabric has a tendency to curl. So I need to block it, which is, so you soak it in some water, let the wool fibers absorb the water, wring it out, and then pin it out on some foam boards. Like, those little like puzzle piece things you can use as playmats. They're great for pinning out yarn for knitted projects. So, and it will dry in the shape that you want it, and then you can pin it out so it kind of stops curling. If you have, 100% wool sweaters, sometimes they might, and it's the stitch, sometimes they might start curling at the ends. And it's the same thing. You just, when you wash a nice wool sweater, you lay it out flat to dry. And so this is same idea. And so this is just a cowl. It'll be a little wider once it's not curled up like this. So I did that. These cowls are great because around here it can get windy in the winter and in the spring. So I know a lot of people that like them, and the hand spun skeins are not a ton of yardage. I can't manage that much on a drop spindle, and I don't have room for spinning wheel, which is why I use a drop spindle. So this has been the perfect project to use up some of these. And so this is the second one I did. This one is not curling because of the stitch that I used. I just did a sort of basket weave stitch. And I thought this one was fun because this one had very Halloween colors. This was spun from an art bat, which is has a bunch of different types of fibers. I'm going to try to get it close to see if the camera will pick up. But there's some glittery nylon in there that's very sparkly. There's some silk in there. The white is some silk, and then a bunch of different colors wool. So that is. There we go. So yeah, sits around the neck, keeps you warm. So these will be Christmas gifts for folks, and these knit up really quickly. And it's a nice travel project if you gotta, take the metro somewhere, or this I can keep in my purse and knit a little on my lunch break, so it goes. It's nice. If I have to sit on a long Zoom call, or I'm not actively participating, I'll turn my camera off and knit. It actually helps me pay attention, and I think that's an ADD thing maybe, that I need to fiddle with something while I'm listening, so it actually helps me retain more information. But it looks like I'm ignoring people if I have my camera on, so I just turn my camera off and I just knit. So those are things that I have finished. Haul, I want to show you. I needed a little pick-me-up, so I bought a pattern off my wish list that I have been meaning to do for eons. And this pattern I first saw in a now defunct British cross-stitch magazine called Cross Stitch Collection. And I loved it, and I bought all their digital copies. But what happened was when the magazine closed, they basically deleted all of their stuff out of the app. So all of those digital copies that I'd bought, I don't have access to anymore. which is really frustrating and kind of crappy, honestly. So, luckily, a lot of those, excuse me, a lot of those designers have now published patterns that I liked elsewhere. And one of those designers is Leslie Tier, and she's the one who did the spring blue tit that I stitched earlier this year. And also Joan Elliott. And many of you might be familiar with Joan Elliott. She's one of those designers that's very similar to Mirabilia, things like that, where she always has, pretty ladies in pretty dresses, right? It's just lots of pretty dresses, which we all like stitching. So this is called Victorian Christmas Lady. And there we go. Try to get this a little bit closer. So this is the pattern. I've been wanting to stitch this for ages. I love the colors in it. I just think it's really pretty. At first I was thinking I really wanted to stitch this on like a very dark green. And while I still think that would be pretty, I was worried it would lose some of the like little Christmas tree back there and some of the other stuff. So I got a sort of off-white with a bit of a light greenish tone to it. Green is a very Victorian color to me. There was a whole spurt of time where green wallpaper was a thing, like these really vibrant greens. And there's a whole thing I think about, like one of the dyes used arsenic. I think it's arsenic or something else that ended up being like poisonous. And there's a whole thing. I think there was a book or something called The Poison Dress. And it was a dye that ended up being toxic, that was used on fabric and wool coverings and things like that. And people started getting sick, and so they discontinued it. But it had this very vivid green hue to it that was very popular in Victorian times. So the color green always makes me think of that. So I'm not sure how well this will show up on camera. Let's try. So I got a 1/4 yard of its 32 count Belfast linen from Picture This Plus. I tend to use a lot of Picture This Plus just because I've used it before and I know I like it. And it is, the colorway is called Vellum. Let's see if we can get, if I can tilt it just right, you can kind of see the modeling. And that modeling has like a light greenish hue to it. Oh, it's actually better back here. Yeah, you can kind of see it. It looks better in person, obviously. This is not a, what do you call it, where it's sparkly. A crystal or whatever type fabric. It doesn't have the reflective thread in it. It's just plain linen that's dyed. And this nice, this corner might actually, there you go. You can see the modeling there. It's kind of greenish gray. So I think that'll look really pretty. Very old-timey. Still within the Christmas theme. So, this is the, I'll just hold up. The thread colors and stuff are just really pretty. And then it's got, any good lady in a big dress has lots of carnic and beads. Very Joan Elliott. So I'm very excited to start that one. I need to talk myself out of starting it immediately after finishing this Halloween stitch, because what I need to be working on is my grandniece's stocking. So if the next video I show you, if I show you this and I don't show you a stocking, feel free to gently yell at me in the comments that I need to finish my grandniece's stocking. So that is all for me right now. Again, like I said, short. I'll probably have some longer videos as we get closer to Christmas, because I'll have Christmas stitching. Additionally, I want to do some Flossmas type videos, like little Advent videos. So I may try to do weekly in December, because there's a couple style of videos that I really want to do. I want to do I'll do a whole whip parade, and then talk about, what I want to finish in the coming year and what I want to, what my stitching plans are for next year. They're always fairly loose, and I'll change my mind, and that'll be that. But I like to plan ahead, and then I will throw that plan out the window usually. So, but I want to think about it because I bought a lot of patterns this year, so I really don't need to buy any more patterns. I want to, if I start anything, I'm going to be pulling from the patterns that I have because it's stuff I really want to stitch. That's why I bought the patterns. I also have 3 cross stitch magazine subscriptions because I love them all and they have great patterns. And that is, I subscribe to Just Cross Stitch, and then 2 British magazines, The World of Cross Stitch and Cross Stitcher. And they both have great patterns, and I've gone through and I've actually sticky noted all the patterns I want to do. So I will do a pattern parade at some point, and then I will also do like a magazine parade and show you the magazine stitches that I want to do. So those are some videos that I want to get done in December. It's sort of an advent to Christmas. I think it'll be fun because we love cross stitching, and I love when people do pattern parades and stuff, and because then it enables me to add more to my wish list, which then motivates me to stitch more because I want to get to new patterns, but I only have so many frames, and I hate taking stuff out of frames and putting them back in frames. It drives me nuts. So that is all for this week. If you are new here and you enjoyed my ramblings about cross stitch, please do like and subscribe. Love to have you. If you are a returning viewer, then thanks so much for coming back, and thanks for putting up with, again, my rambling this week. And I owe you guys a book report at some point. So for new viewers, I used to end my videos with, a little report on what I've been reading. I just haven't been reading a ton lately. So, but next video, I think I'll finish up the book I'm reading by then. And I will, have some recommendations. So, with that, I will say goodbye, and I will go run some errands and then, get back to some stitching this weekend. So, thanks so much for sticking with me and for watching, and happy stitching!